And we're live. Hey, everyone. Welcome to this week's Stripe Developer Office Hours. My name is Cecil Phillip. And today we're going to be talking about how we could use AWS and Stripe together to build some really fun and interesting solutions. And next to me, I have my good friend here who's going to show us some of the fun stuff that he's been building. So, Ro, why don't you really quick just introduce yourself, tell folks a little bit about who you are and what do you do?
Thanks a lot, Cecil. My name is Ndimofor, and I'm a software developer and the creator for the educational platform known as Educloud Academy. And today I'll be showing you how to, build, how to build a grocery ordering application using AWS Bedrock and Stripe.
Awesome. Awesome. So before we dive into that, I definitely want to learn a little bit more about like how you got started in the AWS and like how you even thought about putting these things together. But before we do that, I am going to share my screen and I want to kind of dive into some of the cool updates and stuff like that we have going on in the world of Stripe. So really quick, I'm just going to bring up my screen and let's go ahead and go through some of the stuff. So first and foremost, hold on one second. Got it. There we go. So we've said this a few times. Definitely want to make sure we highlight this again. It is less than a month away, a couple weeks away. We are having Stripe sessions in San Francisco, May 6th through 8th. Again, this is our flagship conference that Stripe puts on. We're gonna have stuff for startups and enterprises, stuff for indie devs, stuff for enterprise developers. We have so much interesting content. Week before last, the last session we talked about some of the amazing training that's going to be there at Stripe sessions. So if you're in the area, if you're interested in just coming out, save the date. Make sure you come out to Stripe sessions May 6th through 8th. If you kind of scroll through the website as well, you'll see that we have a bunch of interesting speakers on here. So Johnny Ive is going to be there. Mark Zuckerberg's going to be there. Obviously, we'll have the Colson folks there. Tons of amazing speakers. So definitely please come out and check it out. Next thing, most of you are watching us on the YouTube channel, but for those of you that don't, if you want to know where we put all our videos, where our recorded live streams are kept, definitely head over to the Stripe Developers YouTube channel. That's where our team puts, again, lots of videos, live streams, interviews, tutorials, all these types of stuff. So you want to learn some of the cool stuff about like what we're doing with Stripe, how to build interesting integrations with Stripe, definitely go ahead here and take a look. If there's something that you'd like to see us cover, whether it's, I don't know, Next.js or some more AI stuff or whatever the case is, definitely let us know in the comments and we'll try our best to create some content that you might find interesting. And in terms of events, so a lot of you know that we've been hosting these Stripe meetups across different offices across the world. Next month, our next set of meetups are going to be in the London and Dublin offices. So if you happen to be in London, I think this is going to be the week of May 12th, right? Team's going to be back in London doing a meetup in London over here. And then also in Dublin, I believe this is Thursday, May 15th. So again, if you're in the area, definitely make sure you come out and check it out. We're going to have tons of amazing talks. There's food, tons of great conversation that always happen at these meetups. It's always a great way to like get together with your peers in person and kind of just hear about what are they building with Stripe or what are some of the problems that they're having and some of the things that they're doing as they're building out their Stripe integrations. So definitely recommend that you come out and check these. Now, with that being said, I'm going to take my screen off, and Ro, you and I are going to have a conversation about AWS Bedrock, and Stripe. Now,
Nice.
Now, you didn't mention that you're an educator and you do courses. Why don't you tell me a little bit about that? Like, how did you get into building courses, and how did you get into working with AWS?
All right. So the main story was, or if I can remember properly, the main idea was, so I got introduced to Lambda functions by a friend back in 2021 because I used to build a lot of projects for clients and I was doing it the server full way, and a friend, he was like, hey, there's this new way to do stuff using Lambda functions and maybe you should try it out. And I really didn't know what Lambda functions were. Just that was like late 2021. And once I tried it out, I just got hooked. I immediately started creating a lot of applications, a lot of projects with it, and documenting those, and posting them on my personal blog and stuff like that, sharing it out all online. And soon started getting a little bit of recognition around the community, and I got a job without getting certifications. And that alone actually, it like lit a bulb in my head. Like, the opportunities I was getting, I realized that, oh, while others were, busy trying to hoard certifications, I could actually grab opportunities, I could grab jobs and stuff like that without the certifications. And I realized that most of the time, uh, employers or the people willing to, give me jobs and stuff like that, they really didn't care about my certifications. They just wanted to see how I could do stuff. And that was where the idea for Educloud Academy came into play, because at Educloud Academy, what we simply do is we teach you cloud and generative AI through hands-on building of workshops. We offer no certifications. There's nothing like, everything you have to do is, you just come with your AWS account and your computer and VS Code, and you just get down to work,
Nice.
because end of the day, it's about showing what you can do, and not necessarily, even though it's not like I have a problem with certifications. And if you want to go for that, that's, I mean, by all means. But I think that the right way you should approach technology, especially in 2025, is to get your hands dirty. And that the only way to do that is by building projects, real life applications. And that's really just what we do at Educloud Academy. And that's also how I got into AWS, and I've been, going deep.
Yeah, so it sounds like you all take a very practical, hands-on approach into learning how to do the thing, right? And the thing in this case happens to be AWS. But instead of, it doesn't sound like there's a lot of theory or hypotheticals. It sounds like, okay, well, let's build something. And using that experience, like, you learn how things actually work. You learn, the introductory stuff, but you also learn the things underneath it too, because now you have to understand how to build it, but you also have to understand how to fix it when bad things happen, right?
Exactly.
Awesome. Well, let's kind of jump into AWS Bedrock. Now, I'll be very honest with you. I am not an AWS person. And so when I saw AWS Bedrock, I was just like, man, this is another service. Like, I have no idea what this is. So for other folks that are like me, and they're like, I don't know what Bedrock is, and I also don't know what Bedrock has to do with AI. Can you give us like a really brief summary, a little bit about what this is, and why should we care about it as developers?
Yeah. As you can see, I mean, this is the age of AI, and all the giants. When I talk about giants, I mean Microsoft, Google, AWS. They're trying to grab a piece of, the market share of AI, and everybody's coming with their own offering of AI offering, on how to providing SDKs and services on which you can use to build generative AI applications and stuff like that. So Bedrock is AWS's own offering. So what it does is it offers a suite of SDKs and services that can help you, that can accelerate your development of AI centric applications. So it has a ton of stuff that right off the bat, it first comes with foundation models, from a lot of providers like Anthropic. It has its own sort of foundation models. It has foundation models it has DeepSeek and stuff like that. And they just recently released more foundation models for video, audio. That's video was AWS Nova Reels, and then you have audio, AWS Nova Sonic, and and stuff like that. So it has foundation models. It offers guardrails, prompts. It offers flows. Flows. I don't know if you know about NAN.
I've heard about that.
Yeah. So it has its own flows where you can actually build AI agents. It offers agents, multi-collaboration agents. It offers knowledge bases to build real scalable and durable RAGs. And what else? It just has a ton of stuff, which I don't think, if you want to go through it, I mean, you definitely take a lot of time to try to go through all of it, because they keep on updating on a daily basis. So that's just AWS's own answer to this AI rush.
So as you're talking about it, I'm thinking, if I wanted to build a thing with AI and I'm using AWS, Bedrock is like a, I don't know, like encompasses all of the services that I would probably need, right? So if I wanted
Exactly.
to run agents, there's agents in there. I can pick different models, and I'm guessing there's a playground that I could evaluate these
Exactly.
different models and try different prompts, and it
Yes.
sounds like I could plug in my data as well. So if I wanted to build like something with RAG, or inspect documents like PDFs and all this types of stuff, I just need to go to one place in AWS, and that's going to be Bedrock, and that's what Bedrock does for me. Yeah.
Exactly. And if you need to, if you need more like really some heavy lifting of maybe AI models, training and stuff like that, you can also bring in SageMaker and and other services which complement Bedrock and the work well to make sure your application you deploy application properly. So
And that's important too, because I think being able to integrate my other AWS services are important, right? So if I have, I don't know, S3 buckets, for example, or if I have Lambda functions, for example, like I want to be able to bring that into my, um, I guess my agentic workflows, I guess is what everyone's talking about, right? Like I want to bring that into my workflows, have my agents use them, expose them as tools, all this types of stuff, right? And so, yeah, the fact that, like you said, Bedrock does support those use cases, I think is a big thing, right? Like it's almost like you have to do that, right? Like it's a necessity
yeah,
for folks that
yeah,
don't want to be building like these types of systems.
yeah, yeah. And that's where AWS really shines, and that's why I really love building on AWS, because I have a couple of services which I really love, which they make my development life easier. For example, step functions, DynamoDB lambdas, and those services actually they fit in, they snap in with Bedrock real well, and they provide you that. It's just like connecting to them is so easy and seamless. You
Yeah,
don't actually feel the it's really great when you bring all of them together in order to build your stuff.
awesome. So why don't we? I'm like you're totally hyping me up now on AWS, right? And this Bedrock stuff. So I'm really curious to see what this stuff actually looks like. So could you I don't know, maybe show us a little bit of a demo of what you've been
Exactly.
building? Because
Exactly.
I'll be honest to everyone that's watching. I saw a video of a thing that you did, right, from
Yeah.
one of my teammates, and they were like, "Oh, you got to get this guy to come on." So spoiler alert,
Okay.
I've seen a little bit of a demo, but I'm sure we're gonna go way deeper than that little clip that you shared online.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
so definitely curious to see what we're about to take a look at.
Yeah. So before we dive into the demo, I just want
Mhm.
to let you folks know why I had to build the demo. It's not just about building it, but there was a reason. There
Okay.
was a
Yeah.
catalyst. Something a match was lit, and so there's this application called Bring. It helps you create a list of grocery items. And
Mm-hmm.
after you create your app, the app is a really popular application. After you create that list, you can actually export the list in multiple formats. You can export it as text, as a PDF, or as image, or as an image. So when I downloaded that application and I really went through it, it was so great and it was so exciting. I was like, okay, so after you export your grocery list, what next? So you take that to maybe a grocery ordering application and now start ordering each grocery. Why don't you just feed that to the application, and all it does is it orders all the items and then creates, Stripe is the best. So it creates a Stripe link and all you need to do is pay. That's where the idea for this application came about. And that's just what I'm about to show you folks now. So the thing is, I'll start with my grocery list. I really tried as much as possible to use my ugly handwriting to write something that would be a problem for the application to read. But we'll just look at it. I don't know if my screen is visible at this point.
1 second. I am going to bring your screen up, and we have it. Okay, so I'm looking at an image, and there's like
Yes.
some notes that we're showing.
Yeah. So we have fresh smoothies, 2 kilograms of fresh smoothies, fresh strawberries, mixed fruits, packaged fruits, pineapples, and stuff like that.
You're a very healthy person, man. You eat a lot of fruits and stuff. That's good.
Oh, yeah, thank you. So what I would do is I just created a simple front end for this application. And here it is. What I would simply do is I'll assume that this file is from Bring. This is an exported file from Bring.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Okay.
that's how it is. So let's assume this is also a file from Bring, even though I've written it down by hand, because I'll assume also that you can write something down by hand. So I'll just drag and drop here, and then I'll click on upload. So what happens here is this image is uploaded to an S3 bucket, and then the process kicks off from there. So it's actually called this an agentic workflow, even though it has step functions and stuff like that. But after the image gets uploaded, a step functions workflow gets triggered, and we'll actually see that.
Okay. All right. So then the image is gonna get uploaded. I'm guessing it's gonna trigger something.
Uploaded, and if I refresh, this is my step functions interface on the AWS console. Let's see that is running, and I'll just
And so what we're looking at here, because I think we also haven't spoken a lot about like the different parts that make up your application. So like you have your S3 bucket, and then you trigger the step function, and then what we're looking at is the steps of the step function, right?
The workflow. And this is my generated Stripe link with the products that I ordered. So if I open that, if I click and open that up, I see that these are the items I actually ordered, or actually wrote on my grocery list. Let me just open them up again. So I had fresh smoothies. The quantity was 2 fresh strawberries, mixed fruits, and stuff like that. And from here on, I mean, it's easy. You know what to do, right?
Yeah, awesome. And then you obviously fill out the payment information, and Stripe does what Stripe does. But what it's done is that it's gone ahead and. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Apologies.
I was asking if I should fill it up with. I mean, I think everybody understands what happens next from here.
Yeah, I don't think you need to fill it out, but I think what's important here is that you've just kind of shown, oh, okay, we can automate, something as, I guess we can call it simple, but something like creating these payment links using Bedrock, right? And I can imagine the use cases for different businesses being like, hey, I don't have to write this by hand. I don't have to, walk around with PDFs and images and all this types of stuff. You know what I mean? We can make lives for regular people much easier, and kind of just automate that process a little bit.
I mean, even vision impaired people, we can actually add voice to this. You can order create all of this stuff through voice and place orders. And I mean, they're just infinite possibilities, right?
Yeah, for sure. Could you show us a little bit, I guess, like the implementation of some of these steps? Like, for instance, like detecting the document text and actually like invoking the LLM in Bedrock.
Great. So, before jumping to that, I would like to just say this application has been properly documented and already posted on Educloud Academy. So even if you don't get the point now, you can still come back to this later on. And there's the architectural overview, which I think maybe we should go through right now, and then and just see how everything, how I put everything in place.
Yeah, for sure. And I honestly did not know you had this as a course, to be honest with you. I just thought you made this demo because it was an interesting use case. But this is even better, right? So you have an entire course that walks through top to bottom, like how it was built and the pieces that were in it. And if folks are interested, like they can do that as well.
Right. So firstly, it's the endpoint is actually an AppSync endpoint. So it's a GraphQL application. And so at the start, that's my mobile or web application, and it has the possibility for me to upload files. If I'll be going back and forth. I hope I don't lose you guys, but I'll be going back and forth. So
Sure,
if
that's
you can
fine.
look at this workflow has two parts. So I try to make it scalable by detecting the type of file and the number of pages it has, because I assume that maybe somebody can push in or can upload a long grocery list, maybe 2-3 pages. So if it's that long, and then I need to actually use a service. I need to use a function of a service which is asynchronous, so it doesn't block and it doesn't fail. So, but if it's one page like what we just sent, and then it takes this other route and goes through a synchronous process. So going back to our architectural diagram, we upload the file. It can be PDF or JPEG to an S3 bucket. And this S3 bucket generates an event which gets picked up by a Lambda function. So the Lambda function gets triggered. And this Lambda function grabs a couple of items or a couple of variables from the S3 bucket, like the uploaded file name and stuff like that, and invokes an AWS step functions workflow. This workflow. So from when this workflow has been invoked, we use a service called AWS Textract to extract the file, to extract the text from the image or the PDF file. So when we extract that image now, we pass that through, we send that to an SQS queue. We're just trying to decouple the application. So I was just assuming that maybe there might be a ton of people trying to upload documents at a time. So my application should be durable, and it should be flexible enough to encompass every request. So when that is sent to an SQS queue, a Lambda function, which is this Lambda function, pulls the the text from the message from the SQS queue, extract the text which was extracted using AWS Textract, and then uses each of those texts to get the items from our Stripe product list.
Right.
From that point forth, it now, when it gets the product, it gets their prices and the price ID, and then that's when it does a little bit of manipulations to it calls the payment link, Stripe payment link API or endpoint, generates the payment link and sends it and saves it in a DynamoDB table. I think I was going forward without actually looking at the architectural overview. So it does all of that and saves the result in a DynamoDB table. And connect this DynamoDB table actually has a stream. It emits a stream when a new item is being added to it. And this stream actually gets picked up by an event bridge pipe. And attached to this event bridge pipe are two rules. One rule sends events to a CloudWatch log to just give you an overview of everything that's going on in your application. And then another rule feeds real-time events back to my AppSync API. That's why when I uploaded the file, it loaded and all that, and it brought back the endpoint, which has all our products within it.
Right.
I don't know if I explained this better, but I think if you go through the application or through the write-up, I think I gave a better explanation for whatever happened within the app.
Yeah, no, I think this makes a lot of sense. And we actually have one question that pops up. I want to make sure we got to this really quick. This one's coming in from LinkedIn. Question is, so does it go to a specific store, or does it make API calls to different grocery stores, compare and choose the best prices? I don't think you're doing price comparisons or anything like that, but like, is this, as you think about this solution, who is this going to? Like, who's, like what's like, how does a store make use of this? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think this is a really great question, and if I wanted to push the application further, I would definitely love to implement this. What I simply did here was I was like, okay, maybe just I own a grocery store or something like that, and I just want to make it easy for my clients to purchase
Yeah.
items. But if I was building something like a SaaS, maybe I'm an entrepreneur, I'm building something like a SaaS, and then I would definitely love to compare multiple prices and do some of that stuff. And now that the question has popped up, I think the main aim of a workshop is not to like give you everything. It's just to like also spark an idea. And now
Yeah.
he's asking an interesting question, and I think if he follows the workshop, he can now build upon the workshop and say, instead of it working this way, I want it to work this way. And that's where he will apply his own effort and understand the workshop a lot better.
Nice. Okay. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question. And then for folks that are watching, whether you're on YouTube, Twitch, LinkedIn, wherever you are, feel free to go ahead and drop your questions in the comments and in the chat. We'll be monitoring those, and we'll try to get them answered for you live. So back to like the architecture of it. One of the things that I found was interesting was your use of payment links and how you're auto-generating these payment links. And because a lot of folks, when I see them talk about payment links or demo it, and when I say folks, I mean particularly folks outside of Stripe, like they're usually doing it like the manual way, which nothing wrong with the manual way. And the manual way is in like going into the dashboard, clicking around, adding products, and like manually generating their own payment links, right? Which again, I totally understand for people that don't have developer resources, for folks that I don't have a dev team. I'm just trying to sell some lemonade at the corner of the street or something like that. You know what I mean? I totally understand that use case.
Yeah.
But also now seeing you do it, calling the payment link API to generate payment links, right? Your customers still get the same experience because payment link is a payment link wherever you create it. But now you have like completely automated that process for them, and you're using AI to kind of like intelligently say, hey, these are the things on your list, right? I'm gonna look through my inventory as a store owner, right? I'll look through my inventory. I'll give you the prices, I attach the pictures, and we'll just kind of like create this experience for you. So now at the end of the day, you can just click checkout. So let's say, imagine like this is a big retailer, hypothetically, right? I'm gonna call it like, I don't know, Cecil's Creations or something like that, right? Like we're the big retailer. And now you upload, hey, here's the list of stuff I want, right? And it could be a text file, it could be a PDF, it could be whatever, it could be a Google Doc, and you scan it, right? We upload it into S3 or we scan it. It goes through your workflow, and then you just send me the invoice. And now all I have to do is say checkout, and then maybe at some point further on in the workflow, you could, I don't know, send me the tracking number or say, hey, your items are out for delivery or whatever the case is. But the fact of the matter is, my experience is easy. My experience is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here's the things I need. Go. And then, you don't have personnel doing it. You have AI doing it, which kind of just, I'm assuming, cuts down on a lot of the operational costs.
Right.
So yeah. Could you show us, like, I don't know, like, is there like a section inside of the step function that you can show us how you're calling and how you're passing like those parameters into the Stripe, the payment links API?
Sure. Let's go ahead and look at that. Okay. I see my how do you call it? The screen is visible.
Yeah, your screen is up right now.
I don't know. Do I have to? I think maybe I should just open up. I should open up the code. All right. Yeah. So if you can see the task input, you see here. Yeah. So it's this is the payload that goes into Lambda. So it has. All right. So let's start from it detecting the file, and it extracts the text. It extracts the text from the uploaded file, right? So go to the output, or rather I think the output it has a lot of
Stuff in it for sure. And then, and I'm
stuff in it.
guessing there's an AWS service you're calling to detect that.
Yes, it's
Text, right?
AWS text tract.
Okay.
Jeez, this is long. Okay.
Yeah, we don't have to look through all of that, but I think the most
Right.
important part is like, here's the step, and then here's, I don't know, the function that you're calling or the API that you're calling to see the thing.
Just 1 minute. I think I'll get it. Okay, so yeah. So this is the extracted text.
Mm-hmm.
Or this is the text we extracted from the document. So this from after, because I've done a couple of manipulations in the background. Like I used some now AWS Step Function uses JSONata, and JSONata has a couple of nice utility functions where you can actually play with data a little bit. So I used it because the text extracted from the file by texttract has a couple of stuff. It has a lot of unwanted, unwanted letters or characters. So I needed to extract that and just get exactly what I wanted: the product name and the quantity. So that's where I used this nice filter, this map and filter, combination of map and filter functions to extract those.
Mm-hmm.
Then I sent the result into the SQS queue here. So if you can see, it has fresh smoothies, 2 kgs, fresh strawberries, mixed fruits,
Mm-hmm.
packaged food, and all that. And then from there on, the Lambda function now pulls the SQS queue for this data. I think I should open up the Lambda function and let's see how
Yeah,
that works.
let's definitely take a look at Lambda. Oh, nice. And you wrote it in Python too. I love Python.
Oh yeah, it's Python. I prefer Python for a couple of these. So just
Okay.
I'll increase my screen size. My font size. So
I
it's
think the font size is fine, but yeah, feel free to increase it if you want to.
okay.
And so obviously, as I'm looking through your code, just being nosy, of course, I see like I see a lot of like invoke agents, agent stack. Are you using a particular agent framework for this, or does AWS has its own agent framework?
Yes, Bedrock, right?
Oh, so Bedrock has like an SDK agent framework. Okay, got it.
Oh yeah, like Bedrock is the SDK. It's
yeah.
So it just call the agent from the Bedrock runtime client.
Okay. Because I'm thinking about other providers, right? And so I think about like OpenAI. OpenAI has like their agent SDK, and Azure has their agent SDK, and then Google just released. Everybody has an agent SDK, right?
Yeah. Even LangChain, even Crew AI, and all that. I think maybe I can also go ahead or maybe a challenge for anybody taking the workshop it might be like, okay, they want to recreate the same stuff with a different provider, a different agent framework.
Yeah, that would be interesting. I think that would be interesting. But sorry, I didn't mean to like.
No, that's okay.
Digress. I was just looking and I noticed that.
Right. So yeah, so this is actually an agent. I would have really mentioned it from the start. This is an agent, and the agent has a couple of tools within it. And one of the tools to generate the payment link to generate the payment link based on products, quantities, and units. I don't know why that skipped my mind, and agents are a hot topic right now. I should have started with that in order to get some extra SEO.
Nice.
Yeah, so this is actually an agent with a couple of tools, and you can actually add more tools, to give your agent more superpowers. But one of the tools, and I've just already seen it, is its ability to generate a payment link. So what happens is once there are messages in the SQL queue. This agent, since it has an agent group, and an agent group is made up of two resources, a Lambda function and an Open API schema. So the Lambda function actually is responsible for orchestrating actually routing requests within or between the number of tools it has. And we use a framework, or it's actually a library called AWS Lambda Power Tools, and it has a service within it called Bedrock Agent Resolver. So this Bedrock Resolver actually helps you create tools which you can actually call at whenever you want to call. And each of these tools are actually they're tightly coupled, or they are mapped to an Open API schema. So when the Lambda function pulls the text from the SQS queue, it actually sends them as a list to this. It calls this endpoint, and this endpoint is expecting a list of products and quantities.
Okay.
So it grabs that, and now this is within this tool that we call the payment link endpoint, or Stripe's payment link endpoint. So the first thing is that it goes through each of the products. It gets the product info, and then it retrieves on line 85. It retrieves the product from Stripe, from my product list on Stripe. So when it gets that, the next thing is actually it wants to get the price, because when it gets the price, now it can get the price ID, and from there you can use the price ID and the quantity. That's line 116 to line 119. So you can use the price ID and the quantity to generate the payment link. That's on line 124.
Yeah.
For that.
And then it's getting so like we mentioned before, like it's getting the price, well, it's getting the quantity from, again, that parsed document, and then it's getting the price from, hey, we just searched the Stripe, or we made a request to the Stripe API, and now you're filtering out items based on name, right?
Exactly.
Or some type of comparison, and then now we're just kind of like zipping them together, so to speak.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
And there's actually a Lambda function inside this inside the application, which actually helps you populate your Stripe, your product list. So if you don't have this, you don't have, like, it's just like creating your marketplace for that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Nice. And then you just return the URL, right? And then that's the URL for your payment link. And it's funny because I can imagine this happening in so many different places. I can imagine this being a part of a web app. I can imagine this being a mobile app somewhere. You know what I mean? I can imagine you having a service saying like, email your order, right? And you send an email, and your email with the list, and it just kind of triggers the workflow. You send an email, and then you get responded with an invoice with the payment link for all the stuff that you wanted.
Exactly. I mean, there are infinite possibilities, because after the step functions workflow is done, it now starts sending events. Now it's event driven, so you can actually send a lot of different, maybe an event to trigger a real-time notification back to your mobile app or your web app, and then the next event now is to an SES service to send an email and stuff like that. So it's just from there on, because you already know there's actually an event for Stripe on AWS. Right. So so from then also you can, because right now I haven't shown where you actually attach that that payment link or that transaction to a user ID.
Yeah.
And that's a really important, that's a critical step, because at the end of the day, user want to see all their invoices, all their orders, all their products, and get a history. And you can actually use the Stripe events to feed that information to DynamoDB or whatever, you know.
Yeah, that's interesting. And then also, we didn't talk about this, but we have event destinations, and with event destinations, you can go from a Stripe events in Stripe in your Stripe account over into an Amazon event bridge, right? And like you said, like son, you could use those events to say, hey, was the payment successful or not? Was did things
And
are things happen, and so on and so forth. And then you can probably go on and create like different workflows and step functions to kind of orchestrate like the handling of those things.
yeah. And if I can, if I can talk more on that,
Yeah.
there's actually, I don't know if my screen is still being shared, but there's actually a workshop on Educloud that teaches you how to like use event bridge destinations to, make that process a lot easier. I think it's what's the name of the app? We're building a donation app. I think it was donation. I don't think so. There's just a lot of too many workshops. Oh yeah. Oh, Charity Connect. Yes.
Charity Connect. Okay.
Yeah. So
There's a
it's
lot of Stripe courses out here. I didn't
oh
realize.
yeah, and I mean this there's also Stripe MCP, building a Stripe MCP server. So,
Oh,
it's yeah, there's a ton of stuff with Stripe. I represent the Stripe community properly.
that's amazing. Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
Did not know. Again, I didn't know you had all these Stripe courses out here. That's amazing though.
yeah,
And then again, for folks that are interested, like they can always go in and they can check out the courses and they can learn different things just kind of based on whatever it is that they're trying to do.
yeah. I mean, there are 49 workshops on it. There's a lot of stuff, and I think there's everything for everybody. But it's all about building. We've put in a lot of effort, and we're still working on. And I mean, we're currently working on 5 more workshops, just video workshops for free for YouTube and stuff like that with Stripe and all that. So
Right. That's amazing. Well, definitely would love if, as you're continuing to do more courses and all this stuff, like let us know, right? We'd definitely love to know about like some of the other courses that you're doing over at Educloud, and if any of them are Stripe associated, like that would be fantastic. Looking at the chat really quick, we did have another quick comments that I wanted to highlight, and I kind of wanted to go down this line of conversation real quick. And this person said, oh, it's cool when I'm actually having a lot of SaaS projects in my mind that could come from this particular project that you're doing. So you're already inspiring people to kind of like start creating things with it.
exactly, that's the aim.
And which is great. And so what I want to ask you is, as someone that's familiar with AWS and Bedrock and some of the other things, what are some other use cases that you could see people putting together when it comes to like payments, not even just payments, but with Stripe in general and with AWS, Bedrock, and AI?
Well, like I just showcased the Charity Connect, which is a donation app where you create a donation page like a GoFundMe. Just create a donation page, and when people keep on donating, now it connects. You definitely want to have a record of everything on your database. So, using Stripe Event Bridge destinations, and it connects to that. And then in general, for AI agents, Bedrock and Stripe, I think there's a lot of stuff. Like currently I'm working on because one thing I'm not really good at is marketing, and now I'm working on that because I have 49 workshops. So what I've done is that I've fed all of these workshops to a knowledge base, to a RAG, and then I've created a social media post scheduler. And I was while creating that, I was already thinking that what if I actually build this for the public, and share it out there, because I think there are others out there who are also really bad at marketing, and they'll just need something that can, automate their social media posting, maybe generate images, generate viral content for stuff like that, and maybe provide context from their multimodal RAG pipeline. So if I put something like this out there, definitely I would have to wrap Stripe around it for payments. So that's another use of AI agents, Bedrock, Stripe. I mean, anything. If you're a SaaS builder, you definitely you definitely want to mix AI, and you definitely also want to get paid. And the easiest way right now is Stripe. So
Yeah, I agree with that for sure. And on the developer AI side of what we've been doing in terms of Stripe, like there's tons of opportunities that you could plug into, right? We have our Stripe MCP server, we have the Stripe agent toolkit. We announced LLM.txt support for our docs, so you can feed our docs into your LLM using LLM.txt, and you could reason about it. So yeah, there's a lot of fun and interesting stuff to see there. We have the Stripe extension for Visual Studio Code that has like the Stripe agents in it. So I think there's a lot of interesting things that have already been released, and probably a lot more that are going to be released. So I'm definitely curious to see how folks are taking some of these tools and capabilities that we've already put out to kind of build like really fun and interesting things with Stripe for sure.
I'll definitely check it out. And I mean, ideas. I have a ton of ideas in my head, so I'll definitely check it out and see what I can do with it.
Sure. No, definitely appreciate it. So for folks that are, so after folks that have watched this video and have already been like, oh, I'm really excited about like some of the things that we've seen here. Right. What would you say are their next steps? Like, what would you like people to do after they've finished watching the conversation you and I just had?
Please go to Educloud Academy and just look through. You will definitely find a workshop that suits your skill level, or that strikes maybe that match, that light bulb in your head. And during the course, reach out to me on social media. I think I'll add all my social media links to the chat. Do some workshops. Reach out to me online, or maybe our Discord channel too. I mean, our Discord channel is on our website. You can always go there and ask us any questions, and we're willing to jump right at it. So from here on, just go to Educloud Academy and browse through the catalog of workshops. I think you'll find something interesting for yourself.
Yeah, I'm gonna browse through as soon as we're done and look up Stripe and see about some of these other Stripe workshops.
Thank you.
Have on here. That is definitely very interesting for sure. And so for folks, again, thank you all for joining us so much. Like I said, definitely go ahead and check out Educloud. Go ahead and look at some of the other videos and interviews we have at the Stripe Developers YouTube channel. And also, please come and hang out with us at Stripe Sessions, May 6th through 8th. We'll be there. The developer team will be there. The product team will be there. Tons of our friends and folks close to the company will be there. So definitely recommend you come check it out. But with that being said, that's the end of today's stream. Hope you all enjoyed it, and we will see you all next time. Bye, everybody.